Hello out there, YouTubers. Well, happy New Year's. It's New Year's Eve now, and I am on the computer trying to get you guys a movie, but I don't know how to download pictures. So I decided I'm just going to open them up on the computer and see how it turns out, and if it turns out all right, we're good to go. I'll have to review it later. If you see it, then I thought it was good enough. This one's a little blurry anyway, but then I kind of explain some of what's going on. I'm going to try to hold it as still as I can, but just kind of explain it because I don't know how to do the voiceover. I don't know how to download pictures, but I'll make a movie of pictures on the computers, and every now and then you'll see me probably turn this camera goofy because some of the home pictures you just don't need to see. So that's what's going on there. So this is we'll start with this log. This is back in 13. If I go up here, you can see a little cursor here. If I go up here and hit back, you'll see this was August 26th in 13. There's a blimp and there's a blimp up there, but we're not going to open them up. We're looking at this log. So now if I open that up, and that's a picture. This is a big, that was a maple log. And this was probably one of the gnarliest logs that I ever sawed. If you can see, it sticks way out over the front, and I think this is one that I had to cut in half long ways to even get it on. That's how big this one was. That's my neighbor Jim up there. He's coming down to saying, "You're crazy." Now if I go that way, this is how it's hooked on in the back. That's kind of the size of the log. Somewhere I thought there was a flat, so I think it might be cut off at the bottom, and that's on the flat there. That's, yeah, because that looks, I don't know what's going on now. It's been 10 years ago, and I have a hard time remembering yesterday. That's, and I think this, I might have had pictures of this on YouTube. I don't think I had a video of it. But can you see how pretty it was inside once I got into it? That made some pretty nice looking wood. And that's using the railroad jack to push it over. I've gotten better at that now. Where I just put the cable over it and pull it over. I didn't have those come-alongs at the time. That's pushing over. I think I might have knocked it off the track a couple times too. There's just getting it another. That's rolling it back this way, I think is what that one is, or maybe it's rolling it down this way. Yeah, the jack's on the back, so it's coming down. It's coming down this way to do the big boom on the flat. I guess that's before I had those roller things down there. I probably had them, just never put them on. Let's see, that's getting it a little bit more square. Now we're down to where it's workable, but it's still heavy. What you can't see, maybe we'll get up here, is my hound dog there on the Kubota watching me. And there is the rollback, now that I think about it. There's the rollback. I had air conditioners on it. So yeah, it was back there, but that was 10 years ago. I don't know how far back I go. There's another picture of the wood that was in that. It was a pretty piece of wood. There's a, I guess, mirrored image of it. I guess I'm getting glare off the light up behind me. Maybe not. This is when we made that chop saw down at Jeffrey's. This was kind of somewhere in the beginning. Just took pictures of it. I don't think any of these ever been on it. There's where the saw comes down. There's the motor down there. There's the reel to hold it up. Most of this stuff was just stuff laying now. I bought the valve. That came out of a school. Had all that stuff. I had the motor. So most of this stuff was just all this stuff down here, all that steel we had, all this steel I had. It was just stuff that I pack ratted. I had the box, I had the gauges, so we put them in a box for the starter box. You've probably seen it now in other videos. There's the motor, and what it does is the motor spins this shaft here, and this is a centrifugal clutch. So when it slows down, no, maybe that's the clutch up there. No, it would have to drive here. I don't know. I don't remember. That's the hydraulic tank. So when the motor slows down, the blade doesn't. The blade will stop. That's just more of it. There's Luke. He floats in from time to time. That's the hydraulic setup we got. That really wasn't very expensive. We got that from Surplus Center. They had a blowout sale on it, and kind of put it together. That's what it looks like painted. I don't know if there's a picture of it done here. Now we're getting into electrical stuff, just stuff that I got. When they threw away all the solar panels from the school, that's the control box for it. I think that's what that is. I'm gonna put you guys down to the apple for a little bit, and I got to get the next bunch of pictures. So I got to go back up here. Here's a good one. Here's how we used to go out all the time. There was my big German Shepherd. There's my little white Shepherd. She was the hunter. And they went everywhere. Kind of missed them boogers. She weighed about 50, 60 pounds. He weighed about 230. And he was a big teddy bear. Alright, back down to the apple. I gotta go back up here and go out and find some more pictures. There's some pictures of the snow. Pictures of that. You don't need to see all them. Pictures of the moon. Oh, this one's kind of neat. This is a big snow we had. This is February 13th of, I guess it was 10 years ago, or 9 years ago. And it doesn't show really much there, but the next one I always thought was a neat picture. This is my steam boiler. That's my steam engine, and those were trash compactors that I had sitting in the back. And you can see snow's piled up pretty good there. That's probably the last big snow we got, as a matter of fact. I'm not sure. So now I'm going to go back down to the small. I got to go back to the small size, and you get back down to here. Keep looking for some more. I'm going to get into some sawmill pictures in a little bit. That's where I redid the bed on the white truck, which that's not too interesting. I'm just cutting off all the bed and working in the garage there because it's heated. Now I got to go up here and make it small again. Alright, go back down here. That was a vacation we took. Don't need that. Here's making the wood splitter. You know the big wood splitter that's upside down that we have? That's making it. That's just drilling 1,000,000 holes. Those are, I think, 3/4 inch bolts in there. I'm not sure what size they are, but they're big. Stupid computer does that every now and then. That's the mag drill, just drilling hole after hole after hole. That's welding it on the front plate. Still drilling holes. There was a lot of holes drilled that day. Probably took more. It took more than one day, I guarantee you. That's the front. This is 1 inch thick steel here. Not the top piece, but this piece here and this piece here. That's all 1 inch thick. This is heavy duty channel steel that was laying around. This was all that steel was laying around. Like I said, I pack rat anything I can pack rat. There's the wedge. I make all my wedges out of railroad track. I think that's, I don't know what kind of steel it is, but I had a lot of problems with wedges in the past, and once I switched to railroad track, I never had another problem again. That stuff is so rolled down. There it's on Jeffrey's mill, starting to put a point on a little bit after we got all the cutting slag off of it. And that's what it looks like. The railroad track's in there, and that makes the two supports out, and then you just put that in there, fill it up with weld, and grind it off, and that's what it is. Then it's starting to look a little further there, a little further there. Then it's starting to get ready to get mounted in. That's actually upside down from what it would be when it goes in. Jeffrey's good welder. Nah, I guess that's putting in the cylinder. Didn't really care. We got a cut edge on it there. I don't think we ground that flat. It just didn't seem to phase the wood at all. Starting to get paint on it. Starting to get more paint on it. And then we used to paint the colors that were left over. Just paint that we had. There's Jeffrey's up there. There's one that Jeffrey has that's down at his place. There it is again. You can kind of see it. We'll go up. How about that for a close-up? So he's got one in his pile there too. Let's see, where are we going at? There it is on the white truck after that new bed was put on. So I guess I can tell you how old that white oak is. That white oak is starting to rot out on me. I'm having problems with it. I guess that's just the way it is. But I can now, I guess, identify when I put that on. And I also put deck stain on it. Let me go down here. I got to make it smaller. Now this was a funny picture. I guess I get the next few pictures. I got to see how far. Yeah, the next ones are. That's an old Jeep I had. That's long gone. When I got that splitter, I wanted to go up and split this oak stump. Figuring it could split anything, and it split it without any problem. But it got hung up there, and I had to go get something to pull that out of there. I forget how I got it out of there, but the Bobcat, it's on the Bobcat there, and I could not get it out. I couldn't raise it up. It was stuck. Oh, I went and got my chainsaws and cut the stump up and got the chainsaw stuck into it. It was like there's where I'm cutting with. I got the one chainsaw stuck, and then I don't think I got the other one stuck, but I ended up getting it out, and it was kind of like, you big dummy. Some old Jeeps. This one's still back there. This one's gone. That's still back there. That's still back there. And that's before the tree came down on it. These are the steam engines. You guys have seen them in the back room before. We just go through them. This is another sawmill I went and looked at. I'm just going to go through these fast because they're not my sawmill. It was one I was looking at, thinking about getting, but didn't. There's a worthless cat. Now I know it's time to get out of this page. I got to go back down small again. Hold on. We got to get to the sawmill. That's really what I'm trying to get to. I'll skip those. Well, we'll do one of them. You know how Morgan has Mike Morgan has his 4th of July thing. We used to do a 4th of July thing also. And this is when people are just starting to get there. And there's picnic tables. Then it gets bigger. This is the fireworks launching pad that we made. So everything's back there. There's water here. There's fire pump there. There's a fire pump there. And this table here is, it's down at the sawmill now. I've taken it out of there. It was level. It has a piece of board on the front. So if something was to drop off and start, like those ones that constantly shoot, they had one of those tip over and had a problem. So if anything tips over, then there were water jugs, 275-gallon water tanks over here. So after the fireworks were shot, they would go in the tub. These are people starting to show up. See, we got 3 rows of cars up there, and it gets bigger and gets bigger as it gets darker and darker. I could probably name a few people in here, but probably don't remember. That might be the Jeep that's in the back. That's my car. That's the wife's car. And that's, I guess, just trying it out. Bonfire thing for the wood for here. These must just be repeats. Let me get out of that. But it was quite of a. It was a big 4th of July thing. More steam engines, the wood splitter. Okay, here's what I wanted to get to. It's the, I gotta make it big. Now this one's probably got a video on it. Some of these have videos, but you're gonna have to go back. Let me see, I gotta go back to see when it was. This was October 19th of 14. So as I go through, sometimes they'll have a, I think this is a video. Yeah, this one here, this one's a video. So there's a video on YouTube of this one. And these are the legs for the husk area, the mud sills and stuff. Here's the legs for the whole mill. This one doesn't have a video. That last one had a, yeah, the last one's got a video. It's only a 30-second video though. This one's the legs coming in. This is the legs coming in. This is legs coming in. There they are all on the trailer. That's a trailer I just sold. So that's all the legs for the mill. You can see the garden in the background, rows of tomatoes. And they're on the, these are all on the fireworks stand out there. So you can kind of see how long the fireworks stand. I think it's like, I don't know, it was like 20 feet long. I don't remember how long it is. Someday we'll find out. I painted, sanded all those, or wire brushed them all and painted everything there. Everything there got wire brushed and painted. And then all the holes got drilled in them. That's the 2 mud rails for the sawmill. That's the old ways, the old wooden ways. That's just where I put it now. Here's something. There's a knuckle boom. Can you see that? That's the back side of the knuckle boom behind that stuff there. This is where I was going to put that sawmill. So that's where the sawmill is now. Not the best place in the world. There it is, getting all put together. Make sure everything will work. And then I drilled the holes way down and then suspended these so there's a foot of cement at the bottom of the hole, and then everything got leveled up. You can see here there's a transit stake, so everything was perfectly level before any cement was poured. And I didn't mix the cement, I just called a truck in. There I'm just digging the holes, digging more holes, digging more holes. That's what it looked like before the cement truck came in. Maybe that looked more like it because I got a lot of supports on there and everything was perfectly leveled up. This is a beam that's not on there anymore, but this beam is still on there. There it is, getting more and more supported. I think here's ready for cement. I still don't see cement. Now there's a video of this. That's 1:10. There might be a video of that on YouTube. I'm not sure. A lot of these had. This is where I'm bringing in the track or the ways. Now I think there was videos of that, and that was, I don't know when. It's just kind of when it gets put on. Here's after the cement's all poured. So now this is all stable. It's perfect. It's level within probably a 1/16 of an inch. That's what the track looked like laying out. Then we had to wire brush all these legs and paint all these legs. Now if you notice at the bottom of all these, even though we didn't put those all the way down in the ground, they were suspended. Okay, there's a little cutout loop and everything, so the flap keeps it from going down, and it also lets the cement go through the hole on every one of those. There's legs. Here's where the rollers sit now. See how we put the protrusion out for the rollers. This one here we ran out of this steel, so we just put some other steel on it. That's all the way at the end, I think. I'd have to look for which roller. They're pretty high. If you can see, that trailer's up probably 36 inches, so that's 6 foot long, so that lets you kind of get an idea. Those holes were pretty deep. And here I'm drilling every one of those holes, because each one of these had 4 holes drilled in it, 8 holes in it, 4 on each side, and then I had to drill all those and match them up where they were supposed to go. The old mag drill, it got it just drilled and drilled and drilled. If you see down here where it says a movie, then that would be a movie that's probably on YouTube. There was one. See how it comes up here? That's 1:10. Okay, so it goes out right after you get it. This one, say, because it's real bright, there's no movie on it. When they have a movie, then for some reason they're a little grayish. Here's all the legs on that one section, bolted on, ready to go. There's another section, all bolted on, ready to go. Now this one's got a movie on it, because see how it's hazy? See if I can come back to it. No, it should have a movie to it though, because that's how it did. They're all numbered. I don't know if you can see the numbers. They all had numbers. Everything was planned way. And now this one's got a movie, but it's only 35 seconds. I don't know if they got on YouTube, and I don't know how to put these on. That's what it looks like laid out in the front yard. Now that looks a little bit better because I know that one doesn't have a movie. And that's how I was moving everything around with a knuckle boom. And now we're back down to the where the sawmill goes in. Now remember, this was already in place. So I set this one in here, and then where all those holes were, I had to run a plumb bob down, okay, and mark them, then take all those back off. Okay, here it is. And if you can see that chain in there, it's all put to the dimensions it's supposed to be, and perfectly 90 degrees to the mud sill section right now. But once again, you can kind of see them. Okay, in between the holes that are all drilled, we dropped a plumb bob, or I did it all myself. Jeffrey wasn't around for any of this. And after that was done, then you take them back off. And I don't know if it shows me taking them back off or drilling them. That's setting them down in, so now they're getting set in. Okay, that's what's happening here. This is a good picture here. That's them getting set in. So this one here is going to sit on this part of the, I lost thought of its name. The holes, you can see the holes are drilled. Then it's got blockage up there, so they sit suspended. You can see the blockage here is suspended, so all that is suspended across there. Now what I think it'll show later. Okay, so now this section of track and that section of track are getting ready to call the cement truck in, because I didn't do that. Now they're cementing those. But can you see here there's a blocks in it, and we're still checking it constantly with the transit. Can you see up here it was built up again, because that 20-foot section bowed 1/8 of an inch when it was from this side here to where it set on the mud sill area. So it had to be blocked up in the center there too. And maybe I already got that out of this one, but I know there was one on that one too. Whoops. Got to go back and I think there's some more of that. Yeah, here's some more. Here it is standing up before it goes in. Now this looks to be the last section. This is going to be the far down in section. It's just sitting there ready to go in, but you can see all those little feet cut out. So and like I said, these suspended like 8 inches to a foot off the bottom of the hole, so they couldn't just pound right through, because if that was there, they just break the cement and go right on down. And then with this foot on there, the cement could go completely through the through that. There's another picture of it. There's the holes full of water. It was a wet season. I know that this one bowed from here to there. I thought I had something in between there. Now this one's got a movie on it because it says 134. So this one might have a YouTube video on it. There it is, blocked up there. I guess it just depended on what was going on. There it is, starting to get the railroad track together. There it is. I knew it was blocked up before we cemented. It's just blocked up, and then there's a scissor jack here and a scissor jack on both sides. You just raise it up till everything's perfect. Here you get it perfect with shims, but then you could have done it with shims too, but it was a lot easier with scissor jack. And there were 2 of them there. And that's kind of what it looked like, and that's after all the cement is in. You can kind of see the cement in the holes here. There you can see the scissor jack there. There's video here because that one's grainy. This is the boiler when it was dirty. Now this is a long time ago. That's how many tubes are in that boiler. I guess we're off topic. And then you go in and clean it, and you look at it. Those are 2 1/4 inch tubes, and that's the door. You'll see it in a minute. That's what it looks like after you clean it. Sometimes it looks that good, not all the time. That's the door. That's another thing. So that's what it looks like it's cleaning. I'm going to put you back to the apple. Take another bite of the apple. That was December 27th, of 2014. Let me see what I got. Here's just a neat picture of the mill in the snow. I just thought that was pretty. Now this can, whatever you, I pull that down and then pull it back as needed. Now you notice there's no engine back here right now either. And I'm doing, very seldom did I have any help. I didn't have any help on any of this. This is the #1 head block on the mill. I took pictures of how that log rule went and where the pulleys were and all that kind of stuff. That's all that is so I could remember. Back to the apple, guys. Take another bite of the apple. If there's anything good that comes up. Oh, okay. Let me see. We got some. I'm still up there, so I can do that. This is when we started making the can't think what I'm thinking of, carriage. There it is, 4x6. I think it's 4x6, 1/2-inch wall, box tubing. We're down at Jeffrey's getting ready to set this thing up. This thing is 30 foot long. There's the old mag drill. There's the set works. There's all the little jack stands with screws on them. They all have Acme nuts on them. So you can get that thing, I mean, it was checked and rechecked and checked and rechecked after every weld. Every weld. So if we welded it here, then everything got checked. Then we'd weld it here, and everything got checked. Then we'd weld, I think he welded here, then here, then here, then here. But it was checked every time. You can't see the transit, somewhere it is. And here's the little jack stands where we made with Acme nuts. So, because that had just a hair of a bow in it when it did that. So, and there are clamps on everything, but you just can't go welding it together real quick. That's what the tube looks like. I don't know if you can see it. And that's just getting ready to weld it. And I don't know, I don't think, yes, these are starting to get welded in. I guess the other one was just setting it up and then we welded it in this way. It's been many years. Let me see when this was. This was February 7th of 15. And that's just welding it, different things on in different places. And this is what holds the cable. This is the end of the run here. This is probably 4x10. These are 3x3, so maybe that's 3x6 or something. I don't know. It's pretty stout. You can see all the holes in it. These are all drilled and tapped to hold the axles. That's the holes are there. The axles are there. I don't know. And that's where they're all greasy and slimy, looking plenty nasty. But and they're all sprayed down with purple, and then all got pressure washed. That's what they look like after. I don't know if that one's. They still look greasy enough that might not have been pressure washed. That's true in the wheels up. So all the wheels were perfectly true. And that was something that kind of aggravated me, because even after it's done, some hit and some don't hit, but we know that they're all exactly the same. I don't know. Oh, there must be a movie of that. Here, it's kind of deceiving what this is, but to line this front one up, we had the string, and we made a bar that wrapped into the wheel, and then ran a monofilament line down the whole row of them to make sure they were lined up. And then to make sure these were lined up, can you see the point on it? They were all pointed. So maybe we put these in first, or I don't know the order of sequence anymore, to be honest with you. But I know that we put these points in on there to check all the alignments. It's been so long. There you can't, it's not a good picture because it's taken at an angle, but that's the monofilament line going on that. I'm about running out of time, so we're going to call it quits. This is going to be your New Year's party. I had some other stuff that I wanted to show you. You know, I think I'll make I got to see how this turned out. We'll see you later. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to see what's coming up next. Thanks for stopping along. Happy New Year.